In this video, I'm going to show you how to complete phase 2 of the pool project. So in phase 2, we have to decide where we're going to start our ball, where we're going to end, where we're going to put the pocket for the pool table. And we have to create a path with at least one bounce to get into the hole. So what I have here is a cutout. All right, so the black line will represent the edges of my pool table. Okay, you all have cut out your own to fit the box that you're using. And you have to pick one of the 4 corners to be your pocket. It does not matter which corner you pick. I'm going to pick this top corner. So in class, you have these clear plastic cups. So when you figure out where your pocket's going to be, you're just going to trace that plastic cup in the corner. So that's going to be our pocket. You can pick anywhere you want to start this pool ball. You have to bounce at least off of one wall. So if you start really close, it might be a little bit more difficult. It might be easier. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to start right here. So wherever you want to start, you're going to put a dot and label it as start. So I'm going to start right there. So after I figured out where my pocket's going to be and where I'm starting, I have to use a blank protractor, which we used in class. And there's another video on how to use these. A blank protractor to come up with a path that has at least one bounce to make it into the hole. So your first hit, you choose where you want it to go. So let's say I just want my first hit, I'm going to use a ruler. And it's going to go from the start, and it's going to go until it hits this wall on the bottom of my paper. Okay? So it hits here. So we have to use the blank protractor to figure out, well, where would it go next? If it hit the wall right here, where would it go next? So I'm going to line up my blank protractor. Remember, the black dot should be where the path hits the wall. And this bottom of the blank protractor should be lined up with the bottom of what would be our pool table. So I'm going to slowly line that up to make sure it's accurate. And then I continue this path onto my blank protractor with a pencil. I need to copy that mark on the other side of the blank protractor in the same spot. So where it is here, I'm flipping my protractor over and marking it in the same spot. You can hold it up to the light if you need to. So now what we did there is we copied our angle. So this is how it was originally lined up. If I were to flip my protractor over, I would then, the mark on the back, I would draw a line to continue it on the other side. So that when I remove my blank protractor and I line up exactly where it hit the wall through that line, that would be the path the ball would take next. Now in this case, I did one bounce and it still didn't make it into the hole. So we have 2 choices here. I could erase and I could start over, okay? Or I could see if I could do one more bounce if it would make it into the hole. Okay, so if you want to do one bounce, this would be unsuccessful. You would want to erase it and maybe start going at a deeper angle. But I'm just going to try and see, well, what if I just wanted to do 2 bounces? Let's see if this would make it work for me. So I'm erasing the marks on my blank protractor and I'm going to reline it up just like before. And I'm going to make my mark. If I continue it onto the back and flip it over, if I look here, let's see if I connect them, if it's going to go over into the hole. And in this case, it doesn't. I missed the hole again. So this tells me I can't even get it in 2 bounces with that angle, so I'm going to erase it and I'm going to start fresh. Okay, so I'm going to erase my path. That's why everything should be done in pencil. And I'm going to try a new path to see if I can be more successful. All right. So it didn't work the first time. But I think if I were to hit the wall a little bit over to the right, I could be able to get it in. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to make my first bounce go a little bit more to the right on the bottom wall than it did the first time. So here's my new path that I'm going to start with. So now, let's try. If I line up my blank protractor, I'm going to mark on my blank protractor. Again, there is a separate video on how to use the blank protractors if I'm going too fast for that. So then you flip it over and reline it up perfectly. Making my mark, and it looks like if I line this up good, that one would make it directly into the hole. So here, it took me 2 attempts, but there's nothing wrong with not getting it on the first try. It happens. But this is phase 2 of the project. You find a starting point and an ending point, and you're going to use your blank protractor to come up with a path that has at least 1 bounce off a wall. You can have 1 bounce, you can have 2 bounces. I don't recommend going more than 2.